Shivoham, 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 Shivoham. Shivoham, Shivoham. Shivoham, Shivoham. Shivoham, Shivoham. Shivoham, Shivoham. Shivoham, Shivoham. Shivoham, Shivoham.
Shuklam Baradaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Manojavam Marutatulya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtham Vatatmajam Vanarayudha Mukhyam Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapadhye.
Namaste. Welcome to Kaivalya Yoga Gurukulam for another beautiful evening on this auspicious occasion of the new moon night. Tonight is new moon in this part of the world. New moon and full moon are two phases, are 2 days every month that is given to us by nature to go deep into ourselves. One shows the expanse of the inner being, the full moon. The other one shows us the littleness in which everything is contained, the seed form. So you become a nothing, and then realize in that nothingness lies the entire creation. Tonight is that night. We shall learn the Nadi Shodhana Pranayama, or the Nadi Shodhana Kriya as it is generally known. Let us start with the other Kriyas initially. We'll start with the Omkara Kriya, which should be very familiar with most of you by now. You're going to breathe out, allow a lot of air to escape. As you chant the Om, breathe in and come up. Let's sit up tall and straight. Inhale. As you exhale, pull your stomach in. Breathe and come up. Shift your awareness in the region of the stomach. Pull your stomach slightly in. Perform what is called a Lagu Udiyana, a mild lock of the stomach. and keep the stomach muscles locked. Use the chest to breathe in and out. All the movement of the muscles happen here. Inhale. Let's exhale. Inhale, come on. Shift your awareness to this region of the throat. Partially close the glottis. Begin the sucking of the air through the throat, pushing of the air out through the throat. Listen to the passage. As the sound passes through the throat, listen. The sound of the breath are the footsteps of Vayu. Inhale. Inhale. Sit up tall and straight. The bandha in place, ujjayi pranayama as it's called, in place. Mindfully begin to breathe, listening to the sound of the breath, receiving the divine element into your body with reverence, gratitude, mindfulness. Excellent. Kaka Shuddhi Kriya. Again, maintaining the bandha. We're going to powerfully breathe out through the mouth, like you're coughing, like so. And you're going to continue to breathe till you can breathe out no more. Then breathe in and come up. Mouth spouted like a beak of a crow. We'll do this 5 times. Do as many as you can. Let's begin. Inhale. Let's go. Inhale, come on. One long inhalation. Empty the lungs with the bandha in place. You may want to swallow the saliva before you go for this exercise so it doesn't choke you. When you're ready, inhale. Once again, let's go. Inhale, come on. Three more to go. Inhale. Let's go. Inhale. Take a couple of deep breaths in between. When you're ready, inhale. Let's go. Inhale, come on. One more. Keep the bandha in place. Inhale. Fill the lungs and go. Sit up tall and straight, deep breathing. Begin to focus on your exhalations. Lengthen your exhalations. Observe the inner workings of the breath. Listen to the breath. Understand the language. All right. When I say understand the language of the breath, it is not a language in Hindi or Sanskrit or English. It is a language of the heart. So you have to simply first learn to listen, and then intuitively you will learn to tune into the breath. The breath conveys to you the state of your health, the state of your mind, the state of your connection with the universe. It's a very beautiful communication, but you have to listen with undivided attention, and that comes only with practice. So patiently listen to the breath. All right. Agni Sara Kriya. Now that we have activated the prana, we want to maintain the prana up here. So you're going to do the Agni Sara. Breathe out, hold the breath out, pull the stomach in, flap the stomach in and out. And then you're going to breathe in and come up. 3 times. Inhale. Exhale either through the nostril or through the mouth. When you're done exhaling, begin. Loose and relaxed. Inhale. Just playfully engage. It takes time for the stomach muscles to get loose. And if you have extra belly fat, it becomes a little more difficult, but be patient. Let's do the next one. Inhale when you're ready. Exhale. And begin. Lengthen your spine. Allow the fire to move, the pressure upwards. One last one. Whenever you're ready, begin. Inhale. And exhale. When you're done exhaling fully, begin the Kriya. Go back to the ujjayi breath with the bandha in place. Observe if there are any changes inside. Listen, feel. Wonderful. Let's do the Markata Kriyas. We'll just do 3 because I have to explain the Nadi Shodhana Kriya, so I need time for that. Now that we have activated the prana, let's distribute that prana throughout the body. We all know the routine by now, so let's begin. Inhale. Exhale. Keep the bandha in place. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Push the stomach in as you lean forward. Don't let it fall out. Inhale. Bandha. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Lengthen the spine. Inhale. Exhale. Lengthen the spine and twist. Pull your stomach in. Inhale. Exhale. 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 One more. Inhale. Exhale. 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 Bandha in place. Deep breathing with focus on exhalations. Deep breathing in traditional yoga is all about lengthening your exhalations. Inhalations are automatic. Don't pay much attention. Pay attention to the length of your exhalations, the quality of your exhalations, your ability to empty your lungs. Wonderful. We'll skip the Pranayama Kriya as well. Let's do the Bhastrika and then settle down to learn the Nadi Shodhana Kriya. Bhastrika is you inhale and exhale sharply, not as much as a muscular action, but more of the power of the energy of your exhalation. Powerful exhalation. Exhale fully in that 1 second that you bring your hands down. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. All the time this bandha is in place. Stomach is pulled in. Chest is what action takes place here. Let's sit up tall and straight. Today we'll do 20, 10, and 20. Let's do this for the next 15 days. 20, 10, and 20. If you find it too much, just do 15, 15, 15. Or 10, 10, 10. Just play with it. You don't have to stick to numbers, but I'm trying to build up a stamina for 50 total kriyas. So 20, 10, and 20, we'll do 3 rounds with breaks in middle. Sit up tall and straight. We're going to begin with 20. Don't go for speed. Focus on the quality of your exhalation. with the bandha in place. When you're ready, let's begin. Tune into your body. Listen to your exhalations and inhalations. Wonderful. When you're ready, let's do 10. If you want to take a break, that's fine too. For those of you who are ready, let's begin. Bandha is nicely in place. Wonderful. When you're ready, let's do 20. Tall and straight. Do as many as you can. Let's begin. Breathe in and out. Wonderful. Let us now understand the Nadi Shodhana Kriya. On this auspicious day of the new moon, we begin. Today also marks the 3rd anniversary of KYG. We began this in 2018 unofficially, and then 2019 we launched the non-profit organization. 2020 was last year, 21. So 19, 20, and 21, we complete 3 years today. So it's doubly auspicious. Nadi Shodhana is purifying all the nadis, the astral nerves that help the mind work, helps us in creativity, feeling the uplifting, a sense of upliftment, a sense of positivity. All of that comes when the nadis are clean, because when the nadis are clean, the prana begins to move, and the Mahaprana brings all the other 5 vayus in action. The Samana vayu gets active, the Vyana vayu distributes prana throughout the body, Udana vayu gets active, Apana vayu is active, and the prana itself. And so all the 5 vayus work in a healthy manner. That is the power and the essence of Nadi Shodhana. Nadi Shodhana balances the left side and the right side, the left hemisphere of the brain, right hemisphere of the brain. It brings about a harmony between the moon and the sun energy in the body. So we practice the Chandra Bheda Pranayama, the Chandra Bheda Kriya, previously. Then we practiced the Surya Bheda, breathing only through the right nostril. Now what we are going to do is alternate nostril. How is it done? So this mudra stays the same. I first close my left nostril. Just watch initially. It's very simple. I breathe in through the right. Or wait a minute. Let us start this way. I close the right nostril. I breathe in through the left. It's always good to start with the Chandra Nadi. So you breathe in through the left. Breathe out through the right. Then breathe in through the right. Breathe out through the left. Let me take my hands out so the words are more clear. First, you close the right nostril. So it's left in, right out. Then it is right in, left out. Then you go left in, right out. Right in, left out. So you're forming a triangle here. Left in, inhalation. Right out, exhalation. Then right in, inhalation. Left out, exhalation. So you're just going back and forth, back and forth. So the energy meets in the center, forming a perfect triangle. In other words, distributing the body and the energy throughout the body equally. A very beautiful, subtle, but very powerful exercise. Now, ideally, this is done for a minimum of 48 minutes. We don't have that kind of time. This is to learn and practice every day till the end of this yagna. After that, it's up to you. You can do it at least 2 times every fortnight. You can do this for much longer time, especially on new moon and full moon nights. You can do this for much longer than 5 or 10 minutes, at least 16 minutes or 24 minutes. Half a muhurta you can do, 24 minutes, of simply sitting and cycling this. A great deal of cleansing happens. So what we are doing here is I'm closing the right nostril. Let's try this together. Close the right nostril with your thumb. Shoulders are relaxed. Watch my neck. If you see my side, neck is going to be slightly tilted down. You're not going to be like this because your arms will hurt. So neck is slightly down, sitting up tall and straight. Let us only focus on this. Kamala Kriya we can always add on, right? For now, close the right nostril. This bandha is in place. The suction action comes from the throat. That's why we did all the other kriyas initially. Let's inhale through the left. Left in. Close the left. Right out. Right in. Left out. Left in. Right out. Right in. Left out. Left in. Right out. Right in. Left out. One more time. Left in. Right out. Right in. Left out. Relax. This is where you'll notice one of your nostrils may be slightly blocked. That's why we do all the kriyas before, especially if you do Markata kriyas. It is very possible that both the nostrils will open up. Even if it doesn't, because you're using the suction of the throat, the slight blockage in your nose should not come in the way. Having said that, it needs a lot of patience to learn this and perfect it. This is the magic that takes you deep within yourself. The mind automatically gets entrained. It takes time to entrain the mind. First, the brain gets entrained to the sound of the breath. That itself takes a minimum of 8 to 16 minutes. And then comes the mind. So it has to be practiced with patience. Don't expect results very soon. Now what we do, having understood this basically, we have so many days to practice, right? So don't worry if you don't get it right now. We just get initiated into this practice today. What we do now is I'm going to breathe in for 4 counts, which we practiced for the last 1.5 months. We're going to breathe in for 4 counts, breathe out for 8 counts. So it goes left in. Let's try this together. Close your right nostril, keep the left open. Let's go. Left in, 2, 3, 4. Right out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right in, 2, 3, 4. Left out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Left in, 2, 3, 4. Right out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right in, 2, 3, 4. Left out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Relax. This makes it a little more complicated. Again, we might run out of breath. So we have to learn to ration the breath and eventually arrive at a gentle rhythmic place. That's why we took 45 days to simply practice the ratio of breathing. Breathe in 4 counts, breathe out 8 counts, breathe in 4 counts, breathe out 8 counts. Then we did left side, then we did right side. So for those of you who have been throughout in this yagna, you might find it relatively easier to get into this practice. So for the next 2 minutes, at least 3 minutes, I know we ran out of time. So next 2 or 3 minutes at least, let us practice this along with the Ramanama Pranayama. And from tomorrow, we'll take more time to practice this. So let's sit up tall and straight. If you wish to, you can do the Kamala Kriya as well. But if you want to focus just on this, let the Kamala Kriya be today. Tall and straight, neck relaxed, shoulders relaxed. Let's begin the Ramanama Pranayama.
Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale.
साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। श्रीराम राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं राम नाम वरानने। श्रीराम राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं राम नाम वरानने। श्रीराम राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं राम नाम वरानने। साई राम सीताराम सीताराम साई राम। 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 साई राम सीताराम सीताराम साई Sai Ram bhajo man Hare Hare. 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 Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sita Ram, Sita 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 Ram, Sai Ram.
Namaste. For those of you who have just joined the Satsang, welcome to Kaivalya Yoga Gurukulam. Today is a doubly auspicious evening or night or day, depending on where you are. Today is the new moon. It's also the solar eclipse. Partial though, but nevertheless, an important cosmic event that doesn't happen so often. It happens at least once every year, but doesn't happen so often. And it is also the third anniversary of Kaivalya Yoga Gurukulam. We began this unofficially in 2018, after my long trip to India, after visiting various ashrams and yoga schools. I came back and we decided to start one at home. In 2019, we formed the KYG USA Incorporated, the non-profit. And as I embarked in 2019 October to the Himalayas, we got the 501c3 status approval from the government. And 2020 was last year, 2021 is now. So I can't believe we're already 3 years old. The baby is learning to crawl and walk. On this auspicious occasion, I really want to thank every one of you, Maya and I, both of us, from the depths of our heart, for your support, for your love, for your motivation to help us carry on this work. And we hope that as years pass, we continue to offer whatever little we know, whatever little by way of sharing knowledge, not by way of preaching or teaching, by just merely sharing our path, our experiences, and what we perceive, so that you can open your own dimensions of thinking and be able to perceive truth in your own unique way. I'm extremely grateful to my beloved Sai for being the inspiration. People often ask me, so you have a Gurukulam, who's the Guru? Are you the Guru? And almost instantly, both Maya and I say, no, we are not. We are also students. The only Guru that we know of is Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Both Maya and I lived with him for over a decade. She lived with him for 13 years, ever since her 8th grade till she passed out in Anantapur. Then she worked in the super specialty hospital. And I stayed there from graduation to PhD, and I was teaching there when Baba performed our wedding. So we know no other Guru other than Baba. I know no other God other than him. For me, everything begins with him and merges with him. That is, he's the inspiration. He is the sole energy that motivates us in this task. And we yearn and we strive to follow the footsteps and the path he has laid out. We will continue to not make spirituality a business or a means of earning a livelihood or any such thing. Spirituality is purely a path where we share out of love, attempting to be as selfless as possible. And that will be the key that will continue to keep this door of KYG open. It gives us the energy to share everything without any inhibitions. It gives us the strength to speak the truth and traditions. It gives us the motivation to keep this flame of love that Baba lit in our hearts alive. So thank you, Baba, for this wonderful gift of seva, that you have allowed us to use you and the teachings that you inspired us. You allowed us to share. So with those few words, let me come to the Satsang. We are still in the Sundarakand Satsang, and we have a long way to go. We have 68, 69 chapters. We are just on we are entering chapter 23. Today I'm not going to chant those verses, only because when I read through those verses, 22, sorry, chapter 22, not 23. I'm going ahead of me. Chapter 22. So in chapter 22, Ravana and Sita are exchanging words. It's a very hot exchange. And today being especially solar eclipse and Amavasya, I didn't want any of our minds to go through that energy, which is quite fluctuating. I felt a strong energy there. And so I thought I will chant the verses tomorrow and go into the depth of the meaning of the verses tomorrow. But today it's important for us to understand, even before we get there, what is this going on between Sita and Ravana? We heard Ravana present his case in chapter 20. Then we heard Mother Sita speak for the very first time, softly, gently, sorrowful tone. So that was easy for us to absorb, assimilate. Now we come to chapter 22, and let's go to the slides. We are now seeing a hot exchange between Sita and Ravana. But when we get to that, we have certain questions that arise. What we see in this chapter is very unique here. Ravana gets very angry at Sita's words. If you remember what all she said, surrender to Rama, propitiate him, worship him. They were all divine lessons that could change one's life. But instead of accepting this, Ravana gets angry at Sita's words. He gets infuriated. What is the cause for that? And this is what happens to us. Even a simple thing, for example, like this Nadi Shodhana Kriya that we learned today, where you breathe in for 4 counts, breathe out for 8 counts. Then you breathe in again for 4 counts, breathe out for 8 counts. Left in 4, right out 8, right in 4, left out 8, and it goes on. Within 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, you will find that you just want to just say, this is not good, I'm not interested in this, this is not going to work out for me. The mind just, like Ravana, gets angry with that whole situation and wants to just get out. No, I'm struggling, I can't breathe, this is just ridiculous. I'll just pray to him, I'll just do japa, and it's not working for me. Almost instantly sometimes when you say, for those of us who have practiced a little more, it happens maybe after 5 minutes, maybe after 10 minutes. At some point, Ravana shows his head. He gets angry. The mind does not like this kind of practice. The mind wants variety. The mind wants entertainment. The mind wants something beautiful to look at, something good to hear, something nice to taste, something lovely to touch. And this is nothing, just listening to a breath going in and out. What does that even mean to the mind? So the mind begins to lose its energy because a higher wisdom, intuition is taking over. So this mind, the lower part of the mind, in other words, the mind that we understand, which is directly dependent on senses suddenly feels like it's going away. And therefore, there is immediate resistance put out. It is not easy to practice Nadi Shodhana Pranayama. It is easy to learn it. It is the simplest pranayama or kriya, however you want to call it. It is the simplest kriya to learn. The technique is very simple, but it is the most difficult to practice because it is the most effective. If there is any one pranayama, one kriya that you need to do, this is the kriya. Because in order to be effective, you need to practice it for long. Not only number of days and weeks, but even at each sitting, you have to practice it for at least 16 minutes in order to see some effects. This 5 minutes and 3 minutes is only for learning a technique. But when you sit for those 16 minutes, you got to improve the quality of those 16 minutes, right? That in itself is a powerful training which becomes, so that quality of your 16 minutes becomes a reflection of the rest of the day, what you ate, how you slept, what was the lifestyle you led. All that comes and reflects itself on the quality of that 16-minute pranayama. Otherwise, it's impossible for somebody to meditate. Well, I shouldn't say impossible. Let me take that word back and say it will be very, very difficult for somebody who's leading a completely disconnected lifestyle and then suddenly sits down and say, I want to do this. So this is not a technique. The technique is only in learning how to do it, but in the practice, it becomes a very deeply spiritual practice because it begins to cleanse and begins to release the limited mind, open up. That is Ravana. Ravana gets angry because Sita is telling him that there is a higher energy than him that he needs to surrender to, and he doesn't like it. He doesn't understand who Rama is. So in this, there is a meaning in the story level, social, ethical levels, and there is a deeper meaning in spirituality. So Ravana gets angry at Sita's words. Sita now, in this chapter, as we'll see tomorrow, Sita's words also reflect her resentment towards Ravana. In the last, she was sorrowful tone, gentle smile, she spoke. So when I read through these verses, I was really scared to read her words because from Sita came out such powerful words. I can be mentally prepared if I'm reading Durga's story, right? Durga Mahimna Stotram or those kind of things where Durga, that energy of the Devi, their Shakti is very different, a powerful energy. So we know she's ready for battle and war, and therefore we can expect something. So you're kind of prepared there. Here, Sita so far has been gentle, kind, soft, sobbing, shy, afraid, that kind of. And suddenly she comes out and like a powerful energy, she lashes out at Ravana as well. So Sita too reflects her resentment towards Ravana. And that got me thinking, and that's what I want to share these thoughts. What are these two forces facing each other? Well, Sita is still not facing him technically, but then they are there, right? Sita on one side, Ravana on one side. What are these two forces? One is promising freedom, expansion, surrender. The other one is grabbing attention, wants to contain everything within itself, the Ravana energy, wants to be the master of the domain. And in Sita's says, let Rama be the master of the domain. So there is, the master here is not the person in the domain, but above. And here, the person in the domain wants to be the master. So it is something where we need to understand and perhaps meditate. What are these two forces? And why are these two forces hostile to each other? Is it kind of built into creation itself? Why is there hostility? Why can't they just live peacefully? It's impossible, right? The story just doesn't match. Valmiki could not have written the story otherwise. Freedom cannot coexist with imprisonment. Those two just don't live together. It's two different dimensions of life and thought and experience. You cannot be imprisoned and experience freedom. So there is a nature. But here is a little more deeper truth that I want you to understand. Wherever there is duality, in any form, duality always breeds hostility. In other words, there will be a clash. Wherever there is right and wrong, there is a clash. Wherever there is good and evil, in our minds I'm saying, because there is nothing out there, outside here. Everything is here. So good and evil, if I entertain good and evil, there's going to be a clash. You see that in movies, you see that in novels, you see that in books, you see that in comics, you see it in our everyday life, you see it in the news, you see it everywhere. Why? Because we believe in duality, good and evil, black and white, rich and poor, beauty and ugliness, hot and cold, happiness and sorrow. And we believe in this duality. As long as we believe and as long as our reality that we entertain and that we continually reinforce is constantly in this duality, there will always be hostility. There will always be two forces, good and evil, Sita and Ravana, always. And as long as these two forces remain, it is but natural for them to bring hostility. The only end to this kind of hostility is oneness. Oneness alone gives tranquility. Nothing else. There is ultimately no answer other than the experience, the understanding, the acceptance. Or maybe it comes the other way around. The acceptance first, the understanding, and then finally the experience of oneness, Kaivalya. That you and I, we are all one. We are part, the substratum that is this universe, this creation, in all dimensions, gross, subtle, causal, all of that, all the lokas, the 14 lokas above and below and all of that, all the lokas, the substratum is consciousness. From the consciousness emerges all of this, and all of them once again are absorbed in the consciousness. What remained before, what remained through creation, and what remains after will be only consciousness. The Shiva consciousness, the Brahman, the Christ consciousness, the Krishna consciousness, however we want to name it. But that is consciousness. That's all that remains. That's all there is, was, and forever will be. You and I are little bubbles of illusion that come out and go back. If that understanding slowly gets accepted first in our hearts, in our minds, slowly we begin to experience a deep tranquility. Why? Because in that oneness we realize there is really no loss, number one. No loss. Who's going to lose what? It's all one. There is no separation. You are never separated from your loved ones. They are in you, you are in them, always. It will always be like that. So there is no separation. There is no loss. There is no death. No death. The death that we call death these days is like a deeper sleep of the self. And it changes clothes from one body to the other, the soul. But there is really no death. There is no birth. So when that begins to dawn upon you slowly, it's not a one-time thing. It might come in flashes now and then, but for it to settle down as your innermost core philosophy, if that becomes your core philosophy, if that becomes the pillar deep inside your chitta, on which you go and lean in times of deepest trouble, you go back and sit in that pillar, under the pillar of oneness, lean on the pillar of oneness and say, there is nothing to lose. Mano buddhi ahankar chittani naham. Nacha shrotra jigve, nacha grana netre, nacha vyoma bhumir, na tejo, na vayu, chittananda rupaha shivoham shivo. I am not the petty mind, I am not the proud intellect, neither the mighty ego nor the minute thought am I. Touch and hearing, taste and seeing I am not affected by the sensual feelings. I'm not the element of earth. I'm not the elusive ether. Neither the wailing wind, neither the fierce fire, nor the wailing wind am I. I am truth, consciousness, divine bliss. I am the Shiva. The Shiva am I. That is the only source of tranquility that I know of. Which, if you tear deep into my heart and go deep into the search for that, what is that core value of that I hold so dear is that oneness, Kaivalya. So, as long as that is not there, there is going to be hostility, there is going to be ups and downs in our experiences, and so on. So, Sita and Ravana, the exchange brings out this even more in our consciousness. So, let's hold that thought for more meditation. But there's something more fascinating here, the ego and the spirit. The ego wants to hold back. The ego wants to say, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine. And the spirit says, let go, let go, let go. I am the one, I am the experience. Ego says experience is mine, spirit says I am the experience. What a difference between the ego and the spirit. So the I am principle, at first, which is the spirit, the I am does not change. There was a question or two last night after we spoke. What is this I am? How is this I am related to the big I am and so on? There is no two I ams here. There is only one I, the I am. That I am is perceived as being limited to the body. When you say I am tall, I am short, I am dark, or I am fair, I am young and old, then I am limiting that I am to being somehow my body. So, and I tell I am that. I don't say my body is dark. I say I am dark, I am tall. That's the limitation of the language, and language breeds thought, so we go on reinforcing that. Correct? I am sick, I am not sick, and so on. Then that same I am can get limited to the mind. When I say I am feeling so good today, I am so peaceful today, I'm so confused today, I am sad today, I'm angry today, I'm full of love. So all of these mixed emotions, when I identify myself with those, then I'm limiting the I am to the mind. When I say I am happy, I am sad, the I am is beyond all this, but I'm limiting that to that. So every time you think about this, think about who was the one, which is the I that I'm talking about, right? And then the I am is also limited to the mind-body complex, which is a third energy by itself, which we can call it personality at this point. I am intelligent, I'm stupid, I'm dull, and so on. I have religious beliefs, I belong to this custom, I belong to India, I belong to US, I'm American or Indian or Asian. So I bring out who I am is based on the body and mind and so on. And so I form a personality. It's called a personality cult inside of me. The I am is now limited to this. Within this, we trap I am. This I am is the Sita. This I am is the Rama. But because of I am being limited to the body or the mind or the personality, there seems to be a separation between Sita and Rama. Did I press something? Oh, hang on, it'll come. Okay. Because of that misperception, there seems to be a separation, and that perceived separation is all this turmoil. There is a Ravana comes in the middle. This ego now, I am becomes an ego. A whole different energy comes ego. In combination of mind, body, and personality, all of this is an ego. It has no place at all. That ego just dissolves itself. It has really no place. But that Ravana comes and robs the I am from its true energy and starts telling the I am, this is how it should be. This is our problem. This is the fundamental truth that Maharishi Valmiki is bringing out in the beautiful story of Ramayana. So I want you to imagine this scenario. There are three primary actors in the scene, correct? Because this stopped me from thinking further. This whole day I've been meditating on this. So fascinating. There is the first actor, Sita. She's the center point of attention. The whole story revolves around Sita, right? If there was no Sita, there would be no Ramayana. So Sita is sitting in that particular scene. Let's come to the Ashokavana scene. Sita is sitting under the tree. She is the center of attraction. Then you have Ravana. And I personally just chose some 3 colors just to identify 3 different energies. Ravana, he is the one who's seeking all the attention. Sita is the center. She neither seeks nor she resents. Nothing. She is the center of attention. Ravana is the one who seeks all that attention. So what is between Ravana and Sita? A blade of grass. A very distinct blade of grass. And the blade of grass, like we discussed earlier, is very strong. It withstands greatest storms. It lasts weeks of winter and it comes up again in the spring. So don't mistake a blade of grass to be, oh, that's all, that's only difference. Blade of grass. It's a whole universe hidden there. So Ravana cannot go near Sita. A big difference there. Then there is a third actor in the scene, our dear friend, Hanuman. Hanuman is a servant who seeks no attention. He says, no. I don't want any attention. It's all Rama, it's all Rama, it's all Rama. I don't want. I'm the servant. So look at that. Sita, who is attention personified. When she sits there, she draws attention because she is Parashakti. She doesn't seek it. That is her nature, right? Ravana seeks attention. See, when we don't have something, we decide to portray it more. Like, I want to dress well because I want to show that I'm very well placed in life. I want to drive a good car because I want to show people like, oh, I also have a good car. I also want to be well placed. When we don't have something, we go all out to display it to people. That's why people who can't afford spend a lot more in marriages and weddings just to show the society, hey, listen, I can also throw a good party. I can also plan a great wedding. So Ravana comes out and draws attention to himself, because he is truly lacking the power to be the source of attention, right? And that wanting is what makes him want to abduct Sita, make her marry him so that he gets that. He says, this lady is the most beautiful lady, the most enchanting lady is mine. He wants to say that. So that is Ravana energy. Hanuman, on the other hand, is exactly opposite of Ravana. He says, no, I don't want any attention. I'm just a servant. I just do whatever Rama says. Whatever Rama. Rama is a doer. Rama is everything. Rama. I don't want anything. Is Hanuman seated on Sita's lap? Is Hanuman closer to Sita than Ravana at this point in the story? Let's think about it. Neither Ravana nor Hanuman have gotten to Sita, and they can never get to Sita. Close. Ravana can never hope to get Sita. Hanuman, who has come, is going to offer to help Sita escape her. He can let her escape. He's not going to be able to do that. Hanuman is not going to carry Sita out of Lanka. He's not going to be able to do that. So Hanuman also cannot really go and handle Sita and say, I will get you out of this place. Hanuman cannot do that. So both these energies exist, but they cannot get to Sita. What a beautiful picture is being painted by Maharishi Valmiki. So I'm just opening your mind to think about that. Who therefore really rescues Sita out? Who lifts the consciousness? Only Rama. Only Rama can come and lift that. So when we talk of Kundalini awakening and all that, let us not be the Hanuman to push Kundalini out. People ask me, give me a technique to awaken the Kundalini. How do I do? What do I do to awaken Kundalini? I'm doing bandhas and kriyas, but nothing is happening. You can't. Rama has to decide to awaken. In other words, the Atmic principle will open that door. It is not in our hands. If Hanuman was forcibly taking Sita out of Lanka, it would have been a disaster. And Valmiki doesn't even go anywhere in that direction in the story, right? So that will not happen. Only Rama descends into Lanka and carries Sita with him in the same Pushpaka Vimana which Ravana kidnapped her. So Rama takes her. Same thing with Parvati and Shiva. When Parvati in Kanchipuram did the tapas, Shiva from Kailasa, from here Shiva comes all the way down to the earth element in the Mooladhara where Parvati is doing tapas and marries her there and then takes her to Kailasa. So only divine grace can do that. Neither ego nor extreme devotion, none of that. It will help us. So Hanuman also cannot really get to Sita. Ravana also can never dream of getting to Sita, right? But here's the beauty. Hanuman is very happy doing his job. Ravana is not happy. So there is a plus point in being Hanuman. So I'm not comparing Hanuman and Ravana in the sense saying they both are equal. No. One is extremely happy, peaceful, finding his joy in that selflessness of the service and being able to facilitate Rama's entry into Lanka. That is the role of Hanuman. Ravana, who wants all that attention and Sita to himself, was unhappy, is unhappy, is going to be unhappy, and he's going to die a very unhappy man, or unhappy demon, if you will. So Sita, Ravana, Hanuman, there is a beauty in that energy principle that Valmiki has taken so many chapters to write. And so in the scene that is portrayed by Valmiki, Hanuman is still not in the picture, but he is hiding there. He is also separated by Sita by branches and trees. Ravana is also separated by Sita with a blade of grass. So it's a very interesting point in the story where we are. And this is what I think Valmiki in his own indirect way, subtle way, portrays to us. So on this beautiful night, let's meditate on this and prepare ourselves more to learn more as we proceed in this story. I thought this was very important that I project this before we go into the chapter and then go into who said what and so on. This is very important for us to understand. That this is not simply a story that can be taken at just one level and say that story does not apply to us anymore because it happened sometime. And it is something to do with somebody kidnapped somebody's wife and somebody else went and burnt his tail and burnt the city, and all of that doesn't apply anymore. That it would be very foolish to miss out the deeper meaning of these fascinating ancient wisdom where the world was in great peace. The world was not, at that point of the story when it was written, the world was not broken up into fragments of narrow domestic walls, as Rabindranath Tagore says in his poem. So the world was not broken then. Knowledge was free. The kings were just. There was dharma, a sense of righteousness. Spirituality was part and parcel of everyone's life. Today we have gone way from that in general, as a community, as a family, as a nation, as a world at large. And therefore to say this does not apply is ridiculous. We need for the stories to apply, because then we begin to understand and we start working and living our lives from the point of view of spiritual oneness, spiritual expansion, inclusion rather than exclusion. And in that oneness, in that expansion, we begin to help each other. We begin to see helping somebody is actually helping myself. Giving to somebody is actually giving to my own higher spirit. If we all together promote this, how much more greater, what greater legacy than this that we can leave for our children, grandchildren, and for the society, and for generations to come. That will always be, that is the aim and the goal of Kaivalya Yoga Gurukulam, and that will always be so. So come be part of it. Let us all together pool in our resources and leave a legacy that helps generations. Let us invoke this divine energy of Hanuman, who will teach us far more subtler steps, how to approach this path, how not to seek Sita and take over the command of Ravana and Rama and do things as if it belongs to him, but how to be that humble servant, joyfully serve, play your role, joyfully participate in a bigger drama. Do the role with utmost devotion, mindfulness, and let the energies bring the world and the consciousness together in oneness. Hanuman is not just a friend, he's a guru. He's a divine energy. So let's awaken him in our consciousness and let him guide us to this state of Sita and Ram. We'll invoke Hanuman and then we'll listen to the rhythms of Hanuman Chalisa. Om Bhuh Purusham Shri Bajranga Rupaya Shri Samba Sadashivam Avahayami. Om Bhuvah Purusham Shri Maruti Rupaya Shri Samba Sadashivam Avahayami. Om Suvah Purusham Shri Chiranjeevi Rupaya Shri Samba Sadashivam Avahayami. Om Bhurbhuvah Suvah Purusham Shri Ramaduta Hanuman Rupaya Shri Samba Sadashivam Avahayami. सुधारी बरनो रघुबर बिमल जसु जोदायक फल चारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरा पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहे हरहु कलेश विकार। ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन वरण विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगबंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया। राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 राम
सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा, विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा। भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे, रामचंद्र के काज संवारे। लाए सजीवन लखन जियाए, श्री रघुबीर हर्षि उर लाए। रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई, तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही सम भाई। सहस बदन तुम्हरो जस गावे, अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे। सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा, नारद सारद सहित अहिसा। जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाँ से, कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाँ से। तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा, राम मिलाए राजपद दीन्हा। राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम। राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम। राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम। राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम। तुमरो मंत्र विभीषण माना, लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। जुग सहस्र योजन पर भानु, लियो ताहि मधुर फल जानू। प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माही, जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाहि। दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे देते। राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे, होत न आज्ञा बिन पैसारे। सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी सरना, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज सम्हारो आपे, तीनों लोक हाँकते कापे। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे। राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम। राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम। राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम। राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम। नासै रोग हरे सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा। संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे। चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा, है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता, असवर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम। राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम। राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम। राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम। तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे। अंत काल रघुबरपुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित्तन धरई, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई। संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई। जो शत बार पाठ कर कोई, छूटहि बंदी महासुख होई। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होए सिद्धि साकी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, की जय नाथ हृदय मह डेरा। राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम। पवन तनय संकट हरण, मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहु सुरभूप। राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम, श्री राम 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 राम। जय श्री राम। समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु। समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु। समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु। May all the beings in all the worlds be happy. जय बोलो पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। सतगुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय। नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेव। ओम शांति शांति शांति।